Hello students, I am Shilpa Bhola, Assistant Professor, School of Management, Babu Banarsi Das University, Lucknow. Today I will discuss about economic planning, concepts and meanings, its need, aims and objectives. So these are the topics which I will discuss in detail. So we'll start with the need of economic planning. Before starting the concept and meaning of economic planning, we should know the actual need and requirement of economic planning in India. Secondly, Planning Commission and its task. For the formation and execution of economic plans, Planning Commission was set up with a certain task. The next is 5-year plans. As economic planning was mainly framed with the objectives of 5-year plans, so I'll discuss about 5-year plans also. The next is meaning of economic planning, features of economic planning, aims and objective of economic planning. As economic planning was based on the achievement of certain objectives, so I'll discuss about that in detail. Need of economic planning. Before starting the concept of economic planning, we should know about the need of economic planning and what was the requirement of actual economic planning in India. So at the time of independence, or we can say after the independence, Indian economy was very stagnant and backward. It was challenging for the independent leaders to make the economy of the country stable and strong. Indian economy was facing various problems like poverty, inequality of income and poor infrastructure. So following are the reasons which urges the need of the economic planning. The first is the mass poverty. Mass poverty means large number of citizens were getting less than of their average income, or we can say the overall level of per capita income was very low. So Indian economy was characterized as a poor country. The second was inadequate medical facility. After independence, expected average income was very low. There was a high infant mortality rate due to the lack of medical amenities or facilities. The third is high rate of population. Population was increasing at the rapid rate, which resulted into other problems also like poverty and unemployment, etc. The next is low level of literacy. If we will talk about the literacy rate, it was only 16.7% in 1951. So this was one of the big challenge for India to overcome this problem. The fifth is negligible industrial growth. Least focus on the industrial growth was there at that time, as the economy derived more than half of its domestic product from agricultural, and nearby 70% of the working people derived their income from the agricultural activities. The next one is backward technology. If we'll talk about the technology, techniques of production was very obsolete, very traditional, which resulted into the low productivity. So it also urges the need for economic planning in India. The next is traditional attitudes. Traditional attitude means the economy was also marked up by the rigid and traditional social attitudes like caste rigidness were hindrance to make changes in the occupational structure, and attitudes towards the technological changes were also very traditional. The last is low per capita income. Low per capita income as compared to other countries' economy. If we compare the India with some other countries of the world, it was very low or dismal. Per capita income of India was less than the 1/30 of the per capita income in the USA. Even in comparison to some other countries, namely Japan, England, France, Germany, Australia, New Zealand, the per capita income and the standard of living in India was very low. So, in order to overcome the various economic problems, Planning Commission was framed on 15th March 1950 under the chairmanship of former Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, with the aim to formulate plans for effective economy and efficient utilization of available resources like financial and physical resources of country. For that purpose, centralized and integrated national economic plans was framed at an interval of every 5 years, which we known as 5-year plans. In January 2015, Planning Commission was replaced by Niti Aayog, that is National Institute for Transforming India Aayog, under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So Planning Commission had certain specific tasks in order to achieve the economic plans of the India. So for that, the first was assessing the quantity and the quality of the resources of country. That means whatever the resources they are having, the physical, the financial and the human resources, it should be assessed properly and utilized properly. The second was preparing the 5-year plans. So 5-year plans was one of the main target of the Planning Commission of India, and it starts with the year 1951. The next is the allocating the available resources. Allocation of the available resources like all the human resource, the physical resource, the financial resources should be there. It should be done properly. The next is specifying guidelines for the achievement of the objectives of the plan. Certain guidelines were given by the Planning Commission to their team or team members to achieve the plans. And the next is coordinating with the state government for the execution of the plan. So coordinating with the state government for the execution of the plan was mandatory, because without the coordination with the state government was not possible for the central government to achieve all the plans properly. And the last is reviewing the progress of the plan. So at the end of the 5-year plans, an appraisal of the achievements during the plan period is made. So the next 5-year plan to fulfill the overall objectives is made after taking into account the achievements of the past plans and the tasks yet to be achieved. So this is a way to review the progress of the plan. This is the list of 5-year plans of India which was framed by the Planning Commission, and which started with the first 5-year plan in 1951 to 1956. It was one of the most significant plans which were essential to the beginning of Indian development, and Jawaharlal Nehru, the country's first Prime Minister, gave the first 5-year plan to the Indian Parliament. The second 5-year plan was started in 1956 to 1961. It was based on the Mahalanobis model and also based on the nation's industrial growth. The next third 5-year plan was in 1961 to 1966. It was known as the Gadgil Yojana and was named after the Planning Commission's Deputy Chairman, Dr. Gadgil. And this 5-year plan's main goal was to make the economy autonomous. And after the three first 5-year plans, there was a plan holidays from 1966 to 1969. Actually, the government was compelled to announce the plan holidays due to the third plan's object failure from 1966 to 1967, 1967 to 1968, and 1968 to 69. So throughout this interim period, 3 annual plans were created. After that, the fourth 5-year plan was framed in 1969 to 1974. So the fourth 5-year plan embraced the goal of reversing the prior trend of greater economic and wealth power concentration. And after that, the fifth 5-year plan, which was in 1974 to 1978. So the fifth 5-year plan was strongly emphasized the justice, employment, and eradicating poverty. And after that, there was a rolling plans from 1978 to 1980. Actually, the rolling plan was introduced in the response to the rejection of the fifth 5-year plan. So under the rolling plan, 3 schemes was introduced for the current year's budget. And after that, the sixth 5-year plan, if we'll talk about the sixth 5-year plan, so it was started with in 1980 to 1985. So Nehruvian socialism ended with the implementation of sixth five-year plan, which also signaled the start of economic liberalization. So in order to reduce the population growth, family planning has also more become widespread under this sixth five-year plan. After that, we have the seventh five-year plan, which was framed in 1985 to 1990. So this strategy was implemented from 1985 to 1990 under the Rajiv Gandhi's direction. And after that we are having the annual plans also in 1990 to 1992. After that, 8 5-year plans which were started in 1992 to 1997. The modernization of industries was one of the 8 plans' key achievements, and controlling population growth, reducing poverty, creating jobs, and developing human resources, and many more. So after that, the 9th 5-year plan, which was started in 1997 to 2002. So following 50 years of Indian independence, the 9th 5-year plans was implemented. So during the 9th 5-year plan, India's Prime Minister was Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And after that, the 10th 5-year plan, which was in 2002 to 2007. The 10th 5-year plan key roles to achieve the annual GDP growth of 8% and providing increased addition to the labor force with paying high quality jobs and many more. So the next was 11th 5-year plan 2007 to 2012. So at the time of the plan, the Prime Minister was Manmohan Singh, and the confluence of formal and non-formal remote and the IT education institution was a key focus of the 11th 5-year plan. And the last was the 12th 5-year plan, which was framed in 2012 to 2017. It is India's most recent 5-year plans. The focus is on the Indian rapid and sustained economic development. So what is economic planning? Now, economic planning, as we can see that it's related with the long-term vision and strategy for the countries for the economic development. So in other words, we can say that economic planning refers to the continuously directed efforts of organizing and using resources for productive purpose by the central authority for achieving certain predetermined goals and well-defined objectives for the specific period of time. And basically the economic planning, the main purpose of the economic planning is to promote the economic growth, to reduce poverty, unemployment, and also to improve the standard of living of the people. As we all know, the major aim behind adopting the idea of economic planning in India was to foster the economic growth and economic development. So there are certain features are also there of the economic planning. Like the first is economic planning focuses on the creation and development of modern infrastructure, and India has also seen the creation of major infrastructure such as better roads, railways, and hydro projects, etc. Next, it also aims to contribute to the development of the education sector also, because education plays a very essential role for the growth and the betterment of any country. The next is economic plan focuses on the primarily identifying the main objectives that need to be achieved depending on the concerned country. And the next and the very essential, the proper allocation of the resources is one of the main features of the economic planning in India. And the last is setting the realistic target is also one of the important features of the economic planning. Economic planning was based on certain objectives. So the main objective of economic planning in India is to achieve balanced and sustainable economic growth that benefit all sections of the society. So the overall objectives of the economic planning are as follows. The first is accelerating economic growth, that is increasing the economic growth. The second is reducing poverty. The third is self-sufficiency in the field of food, energy and many more. The next is the social justice and the equity. The next is regional development, and the next is employment generation, and the last is increase in standard of living. So thank you very much for today's session.